Okay. How did we do this before, Joette? We pinned. We pin?
Oh.
Are you in gallery view?
Oh, shoot. I was in that. Look, let me pin you. Pin. Oh, there we go. Because I think it's my screen that ends up getting recorded, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So how do I get rid of this now? Okay, there we go. I think we've got it.
Yay.
All right. So
We have a special guest today.
Hey,
Katie Doughty.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hi. So I know Katie from, we took a course together, Made to Do This, with Kathy Heller, which we talk about all the time. And we ended up being in the same pod. The pod means a small group, and that's how we got to know each other. And I love Katie.
I love you. I feel so lucky that we were in the same pod together and still are. We still meet.
I know. Yeah, even though the class is over, it's we still meet every other week. So Katie, this is Marcy. Marcy, this is Katie. I think you guys met before, but
So nice to meet you.
yes. So you guys, you say you're still meeting, but is that something that you chose to do, or
Yeah.
so after the class was over, you decided you wanted to keep meeting together?
Yes, we were not ready to say goodbye to each other. I think we found a really good group of women that are encouraging and love working together. And so we decided to keep it going. Hopefully we'll just keep going forever because I love those ladies.
I love just hearing how everybody's, what they're doing in their businesses. And so for myself, that's why I was like, well, I don't know if I'll commit to every week, but every other week worked well for me. So even though I'm not like, booming with my business, but still, I love seeing how everyone else is growing. So Katie is a teacher, and she created Leaping Letters. And so, I don't know, Katie, could you just tell us a little bit about your background and how Leaping Letters came to be?
Yes, I would love to tell you about that. So I have known forever, my whole entire life, that I wanted to be a teacher. That was just something that was put on my heart when I was a really young kid, and it never changed. So I went to college, got my degree in education, and then I got my first teaching job. And I taught first and second grade for about 6 years until I stayed home with my daughter, had my baby. Then I subbed a little bit, thought about going back, and then I had my son, and then I decided I'm going to stay home. I'll be a stay-at-home mom, take care of my babies. Well, I realized quickly that staying home is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I apparently need something to do. I mean, I love taking care of my kids and I love that part of my life, but I also needed something for me. And so I was constantly looking for something. So I started an Etsy shop and I did some crafting, and I went and worked for another preschool, an outdoor preschool, for a while. And then I decided I kind of wanted to start my own preschool. And so I had this idea of connecting. I love gymnastics. I taught gymnastics for a really long time. Growing up, that was my job in high school and college. So really special connection to that. So I wanted to take preschool and gymnastics and squish them together. So not necessarily like have preschool and do gymnastics, but do the preschool part, the learning part, in the gym, the movement part. So I approached the gym that my daughter was going to. I said, does this interest you? And they said, yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a try. So Leaping Letters was born. I started with one class. I had 4 kids, but it was perfect. So we would read stories in the foam pit, and we would do the number line on a balance beam, and we would count our jumps on the trampoline, and all the learning happened in the gym. And so I was kind of growing that program. It was a slow process getting people to understand what it was and sign their kids up, because when they would go to gymnastics, they want gymnastics. They weren't necessarily looking for a new idea. But I was continuing to grow it. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So the gym went online and they were offering classes on Zoom. And they said, do you want to try something? Maybe you could read a story. And I said, sure, let's do that. So we did bedtime stories with teacher Katie. And then we did I would read a story during the day and do a Play-Doh activity or something. And then I realized, oh, this might actually work. So I knew we were probably not going back in the fall and I was going to need to adjust not coming back in the gym. So I thought, let's put together a preschool program on Zoom. I think I could keep them engaged. I think I could try this for, if I keep them moving, maybe they'll stick with me. I don't know. So the gym was on board with it, but they had kind of their own stuff going on. And then when I knew my kids weren't going back to school, I decided to pull them out and homeschool them myself. And that's when I kind of knew, I don't know if I can juggle working for someone else on their schedule and do my own thing. And so I thought, I'm going to take a step back. I'll still kind of run the program. Maybe I'll get a few people to come and join me because I needed to teach my son anyway. And so I kind of stepped back. And my husband told me, he's like, you can do this yourself. This is no problem. I already bought you the domain, leapingletters.com. It's yours. And I was like, what?
Wow.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. He's like, you can do this yourself, right? He was really encouraging. He helped me build a website and I thought, okay, well, I'll put it out there. So I built a curriculum, A to Z, I knew I could last the entire year. And I just thought, anyone want to join me? Come join me. Here's what I'm doing. And it actually turned out really cool. I had a lot of kids that came and we met twice a week. And then I also recorded the videos by myself so that people could do them on their own time if they couldn't make the times that I had set for Zoom. And then I sent the kids all of the supplies for the year. So every art project, every movement activity, Play-Doh, anything that they might need, then I could just say, hey, okay, grab your 2 googly eyes and your brown paint and meet me, at this time or whatever. So Leaping Letters Online was born. And now I have an entire online preschool. It's all recorded and ready to go. So any families can just join, press play, and then they have preschool at their fingertips. So long story, but that's how Leaping Letters came to be.
So it's not quite, it's over a year old then? Is that about right?
So
Or
Leaping
more?
Letters Online, yes, is a year. I had started in the gym about 2.5 years ago. Probably, yeah, I'm blanking on the date, but yeah, so we had started in the gym and then the pandemic took it online.
I think that's an interesting, really interesting concept because that movement, moving the body and learning, I think I don't know if there probably is research, but it makes sense to me that would be a good way to, learn stuff. It's like somatic as well, so.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
absolutely. And I think kids at that age in preschool, they have to move. I would lose them in 2 minutes if I wasn't keeping them moving and grooving. So yeah, the learning through movement, the connecting the body to the brain, it's powerful.
Yeah. How long are those classes?
So every letter has 2 separate 45-minute lessons. So over the course of A to Z, there's over 40 hours of content, and we cover stories and character building. I like to incorporate a word of the day that has to do with character building, like A for acceptance, or C for courage, or T for tolerance, and we talk about that through stories. Play-Doh, art projects, movement activities, gymnastics. Of course, I have to include gymnastics. Yeah, so lots of stuff.
I can see you, Marcy, doing, because Marcy, she's wanted to be a teacher too when she was young, and I feel like that's in her. So I could see you doing it as well.
Look, that sounds so much fun. So I'm wondering, which do you like better? Do you miss going to the gym, or are you happy doing it on? Of course you're happy doing it online, but do you have a preference? Do you miss going to the gym?
I miss the kids in person for sure, but I love the freedom that doing it online in my basement gives me, that I can stay home with my kids. I can do it on my own schedule and I can provide opportunities throughout the day at any time. Whereas going to the gym is a very set schedule. But I do miss the in-person part of it. And I would love, hopefully someday, to have a space where I can actually work with the kids in person.
Yeah, that was my main question. So I bet you parents feel the same way, and their families. I mean, the convenience of being able to do it on their own time too, because you record it. So that's really, it's really helpful as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, have it as an option for families, because kids go to preschool, they're going back, in person now, most of them. And so, but they only go 2 or 3 days a week. There's still lots of time at home that you can, turn it on and keep them moving and learning at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, go ahead, Joanne.
Well, I was going to ask if your husband or you had ever started a business before.
Not like this.
That's
No,
amazing. That's
no.
amazing that he just like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would have pursued it if he hadn't been that, encouraging and just said, let's do this. And he was my video editor and my website director, and he just kind of took over that role for me and let me do the part that I loved, which was the teaching and the planning and the curriculum development. And he kind of took care of the back end of it. And it just turned out to be so fun, so unexpected, but so fun.
That's so great that he believed in you right from the beginning. By the way, I just went and bought your domain name. So you're doing this.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah, it took me by surprise, but I thought, well, it's kind of nice to know someone's in my corner. If I'm going to do this, I don't have to do it alone. And he was right there every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, I checked out your Facebook page so people can find you on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And you have a Facebook group, right? The Raising Kind Humans.
Yes. Yeah. So I've since I still have Leaping Letters. There is a Leaping Letters Facebook group. It's kind of quiet right now because most kids are going back in person. But I've since felt this really big tug at my heart to start developing curriculum for kids about community service and learning empathy. Can you teach empathy? Can you learn empathy? And if you can, I want to be the one that helps teach it. So I did start a Facebook group called Raising Kind Humans, and it's just for families who are trying to raise their kids the best they can to be kind.
Oh my gosh. Where do we sign up for that?
You can come on in anytime. Anyone's welcome. It's for everybody.
Yeah. And I love what you're doing. I watch some of your videos and your projects for your kids, but then, as an adult, it's good to do as well. We talked about giving blood and a little bit about I think there was one video where you interviewed women who had kids that had cancer. Yes. And so those are some serious topics, but it's so good that to be talked about.
Absolutely. It's all about awareness, right? And I feel like that kind of came about. So it's been a little bit over a year now, but one of the kids in my neighborhood was diagnosed with leukemia. She was 6 at the time. And when I got that news, it was heartbreaking, just because you don't know they didn't know what her future would be like. And so my first thought was, what do I do? How do I help this? And she ended up needing a marrow transplant and needing a match. She needed to find a match from the Be the Match registry to get a transplant and create healthy new cells. They were really struggling to find a match for her. And so that's kind of how I got started in doing community service with my kids, because I thought, well, let's find her a match. What are we going to do this? And so I connected with Be the Match and started organizing a task force of creating a swab drive, because joining the registry on Be the Match is just a simple cheek swab, and then you mail it in and then you're on the registry and they'll see if you match with anyone. Super easy. Anyone listening, go right now to bethematch.org and sign up, because it's really easy and you could literally save someone's life. So we, of course, it's during the pandemic, we can't do an indoor event, a swab drive inside. So we had to get creative, and we figured out a way to do a drive-through swab event where they could come and park. We'll hand them a swab. They'll do everything on their phone, do the swab, and then drop it in the box. So we were able to get quite a few people to come through, but my daughter was watching, right? She knew Vienna. She knew her friend needed help, and she wanted to help too. And so she started making bracelets to sell. Actually, I'm still wearing mine a year later. Yeah. So she started making bracelets, and I thought, that's a really good idea. Let's sell them. You can donate the money to Vienna and to Seattle Children's. Well, people are very generous when it comes to kids with cancer. And so she ended up raising over $1,500 to be able to donate. So half or part of it went to Seattle Children's, part of it went to GoFundMe, and then I took her to Target and let her pick out gifts for Vienna to do in the hospital, items for her to do while she was receiving her treatments. But the process of involving my kids in that, and they were involved in the drive, and they helped make signs, and they actually did we filmed this little commercial type thing asking people to sign up on the registry. And so they knew what was going on, and they really wanted to be a part and wanted to help. And so that's kind of how I thought, oh, you are mature enough to understand and want to be a part of this kind of stuff. Like, it's heavy on me. And you still shield them from a lot of a lot of the information, but they knew someone needed help. What can I do? Let's do something together. So that's kind of how I got started in doing community service with kids.
I love that. I love that, because I think it is important to talk about those things, and not hide it, because kids are smart. They know when things are going on. So
Absolutely.
I think it's good to include them. But like you said, you can do that in a way that it's appropriate for those little minds. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
So how is your neighbor doing?
She is doing really well. She is very close to coming up on her 1 year. She's calling it her 1 year cells birthday, because her new cells will be 1 year. And that's kind of the main benchmark of, okay, then they'll take new labs and see where she's at. So we are crossing our fingers that she gets the all clear. And yeah, so she did find a match. So another way that you can be a donor is through cord blood donation. And she found a cord blood donor that matched with her. Thank goodness. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
you've been doing some amazing things. I think you said you're writing a book.
I am writing a book, which is not something that I would have ever dreamed of writing. I love children's literature, and I've written children's books, but I would have never thought of writing an adult book, a book for adults. But through the program that I met Joanne, and I met another woman who does book writing or book coaching, and she really encouraged me to write it down, write about the community service, and write about, can you teach empathy, and why is it important, and why should we be doing it with our kids, and how do we do that? So that's what I'm doing. I'm writing a book.
Wow, that's great. Oh my gosh. That's such an important topic too. Empathy, I don't.
Yes,
Wow.
it's huge. And I feel like it's evolving as I write. More and more is coming to the surface of what's important, and the topic of, can you teach empathy? Is it a taught or learned behavior, or is it something you're born with? And just kind of diving in and asking the experts and trying to find the information. So that's kind of my new mission, is to answer that question and get it out to parents.
Oh.
Wow. So is there anything? Well, I mean, that's enough right there. But what are the things that you do for yourself that keeps you in that, I guess, that dreaming? I mean, for yourself. I mean, you're doing a lot of community service. You're serving your community, you're serving all these other people. So what is it that you do, like, for yourself?
Yeah, I think for myself, I really have to give myself permission to just be sometimes. I'm kind of one that likes to keep moving and keep going and keep doing. And sometimes I have to take a step back, and it's okay to lay on the couch that day and, not be productive that day and give myself a little bit of grace. I love being a stay-at-home mom. I'm homeschooling right now, so I love being able to create stuff for them, create curriculum for them that they're learning about and let them kind of flourish as learners. That brings me a lot of joy. And I think not putting a timeline on my goals. I want to write this book. I want to have a really successful program where I teach kids community service, but I'm setting the deadline and I need to be more accepting of just enjoying the journey and letting it be and letting it happen as it happens, because the more I let go, the more that comes to me. And so I think that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh
That's
my
something that I
gosh.
have to continue to remind myself, because I get caught up in I always want, well, Joanne knows, when are we gonna, let's put a deadline. Joanne has to say, well, I don't do I don't do that for myself. Anyway, I have to remind myself about that all the time, because it's so much easier if you just let it happen naturally.
Yes, absolutely. But it's really hard to let that go because you want to move on to the next thing. But I have to keep reminding myself that the joy is getting there, right? The joy is learning and exploring and building. And I need to enjoy that part and let go of the end deadline.
Right.
Yeah, we were just in a call this morning where they were talking a little bit about that. It was Kathy Heller, Sherry Salata, and Allison Bird, who is
Love them.
amazing. And, talking about putting in your order and then letting go of the outcome of that attachment to the outcome. So, I'd like this or something better,
Right.
And I was like, oh gosh, yeah, I need that reminder too of like holding on so tight to the outcome,
Mhm.
when maybe the universe has something bigger or better, that we don't know about yet. So
The universe totally has something bigger and better if we just let it go.
yeah.
It's kind of like someone once told me, just be the lighthouse, right? You do your thing, let it be, and they will come to you. So even
Yeah,
better.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, whatever we want is already ours. So it's just like sit back and enjoy the ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's tricky, but it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when they're talking about, sometimes we worry about things passing us by,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh no, it's like you said, it's already ours, just line up with that vibration and it then we'll see it. So
Well, you
oh,
guys were part of the Kathy Heller's Made to Do This, but what is that all about, the Made to Do This? Because there might be somebody that hears this doesn't know what Made to Do This is.
Yeah, Made to Do This was a program by Kathy Heller that's really about finding your passion and creating a business around it. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? What does the world need? And then how can you make money around that and make that your life's purpose? I love the theory behind it of making your life's purpose your work, right? We can combine the work and your purpose to create something
yeah,
beautiful for the world.
I
I
think
love that concept.
that's magic, because so many people like grow up, like they're born and taught that, well, my mother is a doctor, so I'm going to be a doctor, or my dad's a teacher, so maybe I should be a teacher, and never give them the opportunity to sit back and dream about what it is that they want. What are their things that excites them? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely changed my perspective because I mean, that's how I grew up too. You pick what you want to do, you go to college, then you do that thing. And that's what I did. And then I became a teacher. And then when I stopped teaching and stayed home with my kids, I realized there are so many other things I could do that I had never thought about before. But because I had time, because I took a breath, I realized that there's more to it. I can still be a teacher, but I don't have to go back to the classroom, it could look different, and that's okay.
Right. And then life is not one and done. So you're still on your journey. You're just taking it to the next level. We
Yeah,
can always change our mind at any time. So just test it out, play with it, have fun with it.
absolutely. And let the universe take you there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well, we have some, before we close, we have some questions. I'll ask like maybe 3 of them.
Okay.
So, do you have a favorite travel experience so far?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's hard to pick one. My husband and I were very adventurous before we had kids, so we did a lot of traveling. I'd have to say the one that sticks out the most is we went to Europe and we got to go paragliding. And that was one of the most magical experiences I have ever experienced.
Wow.
Yes, it was fascinating, terrifying, but it was probably the closest to flying I will ever feel. So we did that in Austria, went up the Alps, ran, there was a bunch of cows with bells, and it was beautifully sunny, and it was just this magical, peaceful moment. And then, they strap you to you and to themselves, and then they tell you to run down the hill and then jump.
Oh my
Oh my.
gosh.
Oh, so that was probably
That's
one of my
amazing.
favorites.
I would like that.
I highly recommend.
I would like to fly.
Oh
Yes.
man, because there's nothing obstructing your view. You're just floating above the tree, so it's quiet, and yeah, it's sign up. Get there and sign up.
That sounds like so much fun.
I know. Okay, that's good. That's going to be put on the list. So making that someday list to the today list. So, okay, another question. Do you have a favorite musician or genre of music?
Ooh, so I've always loved Jack Johnson.
Oh,
Calming music is my favorite. It's what I put on when I need to just chill out and enjoy, or need a little uplift. It's also there was one song of his, I can't remember which one it was off the top of my head, but I played it for my son when I was pregnant, and he would wiggle around in my belly. Yeah.
How
I'm a
cute.
big, Jack Johnson.
Okay, and let's see. What's one thing you appreciated from this week?
Well, I will actually tell you, I just signed my kids up for their COVID vaccine, and it's something that we have been waiting for, and I just got their appointment, and so that is something that I am beyond grateful. Grateful for science today.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. Well, thank you, Katie, for joining us. We enjoyed learning more about you.
Oh, this was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Katie. This was so much fun. Yes. Congratulations on all the amazing things that are happening, and good luck on all of those dreams.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Just as we thought the conversation was over, Katie dropped some more gems on us, so we had to share them with you. Thank you so much for sticking around. Kept it going.
Oh yeah, because we might get some nuggets, but
Okay.
we
because
just heard about the other book that we should have put in here. Okay,
No.
carry on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you and your daughter may be doing some kind of designing spaces, or
Oh, yes. Okay. So through this, because the universe works in weird ways, through this process of learning that you really can take your passions and turn them into your work, right? So I love creating new spaces. I love organizing. I love creating places for my kids to play or read, or, and it's constantly changing around my house because that's just what I love to do. Well, now my daughter loves to do that, and she loves to be a part of creating new places around the house. So as part of our homeschooling curriculum, I thought, I'm going to teach her how to start a business. Let's do it. Let's do it
my
together.
God. Yes.
Right? Because I
Oh.
feel like those are skills you should have and know that are available to you when you're making life choices. And so I said, and our whole family really wants to travel. That's kind of our thing. We really want to travel this year while we're doing homeschool. But that's really expensive. So we have decided to create a little family business called Heart Space Home Design, where we create joyful spaces for people, help them design it, help them organize it, and then implement it in their house. And so I taught her, she made she did a logo. We got an email address. I taught her how to do an invoice because we have a neighbor that's interested in doing her kids' room. So she wrote up an invoice and emailed it over, and it's been really fun. So we haven't done a project yet. I mean, it's just starting, but even if it ended right now, I think she's learned a ton about, well, that sounds fun. I want to do that. Let's do that.
That's so good. That is so good.
I want to know more about that. I have 3 grandbabies that I think would love something like that.
Yeah. And if
Yes.
it's something they love to do and it doesn't really feel like work, selfishly, I want that time with her. And so if she's going to be a part of that and come with me and do projects, like, yeah, let's do it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. And the idea of being your own boss and forging your own path and you choosing, something you love and then making it into a business. I love that.
Yes, choosing your own path. I think that's what I really want to instill in my kids is you get to decide, you get to choose, and whatever it is you choose is okay if it makes you happy and brings joy, to the world. And so I think, yeah, we'll see where this takes us, but it should be fun.
Oh,
Yeah, well, and you've learned how to do things messy. Right?
Yes,
You can
just
pass
do
that
it.
on. You can pass
Yeah.
that on. Like,
Yeah, right. And then
around
it's
with
okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's healthy too. I mean, we sat down and I had her make a list of, okay, what are the things we will do and what are the things we won't do, and kind of talking about the boundaries and what does our company look like. If someone asks us to do yard work, are we going to say yes or are we going to say no? And so we kind of sat down and hashed out what that would look like for us.
oh, how
We said no yard
fun.
work.
Well, design your space, but doesn't come with pulling weeds.
Exactly. Yeah. You do that.
You do
part.
that.
Mhm.
So would you design a space in like, where do you live right now? What state are you in?
We're in Washington. Yeah, just
In
north of Seattle.
So would you design a space in Nevada? Say?
Sure, you gonna have us over?
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, we'll design anything.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Well, I'm excited to learn more about that for sure.
Yeah, I love that idea because it's like the lemonade stand 2.0. you know.
Exactly. Yeah, business skills, right? Like something you love.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
My daughter's 8 and my son is 5.
All right, well, your son's coming right up there. He's going to want his own business too.
I know, I've already started thinking for him what he's gonna want to do.
Yeah.
Not sure yet, but I'll be available when he's ready.
Oh. So I see a piano there. Do you play the piano?
This is also someday I hope that the universe will teach me how to play the piano.
Look, that's how you do it. You look at it and
Yeah.
then you sit down and play with it. Of the
Yeah.
keys.
Yeah, so my kids are learning how to play. So my sweet, sweet neighbor is teaching both my kids how to play piano. This was my mother-in-law's piano. She passed it along to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
such a treasure there.
Yeah.
I love all the ideas that come to you, Katie. Every once in a while, we'll because we have a group text, we'll get a text from Katie about some new thing that's brewing. It's great.
I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing, but things pop up all the time and then then I feel like, oh, okay, that's the next thing, working towards that.
It's a blessing.
That's a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try things out. I was thinking today, how with so many things we get to try it out before we really buy, like the samples at Costco, or we
Mhm.
test drive a car, or we tour a house. But why is it like for careers, it seems like we invest first and then and then see, if it does it work out,
Yeah.
it's like,
That,
why don't we like try out, have a place where you could try things out, like, you know businesses or careers, try it on for size, even clothing, you get to try it on.
that's so true.
And
It's so true. And you
this big
can,
thing, and then you feel like you have to make the right choice because you're going to invest so much money and
right,
time into
money
this
and
thing.
time.
Right. Well, then you also think like, okay, I got to make the right decision because I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing this. So it's got to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're stuck.
we've got it backwards. It's like something needs to change.
I know. Well, hopefully that's what we're doing right here, right now, right?
Yeah,
Find
exactly,
something that you
exactly.
love.
Right.
My
Yeah.
husband did the same thing though. He went to school for marketing, business marketing, did it for a summer and said, no, this isn't what I want to do. He had a passion for video games. And so he figured out a way to get an internship and work at a studio. And then now he's really into the games.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Yes,
He made it
that's
his career.
Wow. So I have a friend that I went and had dinner with a few months back and found out his son is like one of those gamers. Like he gets paid to
they make
play
a lot of
video
money.
games. I didn't even
Yeah,
know that was a thing, but like
yeah,
it's a big thing.
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big thing. Yep. But just like everything else, my husband designs video games, but it's still a job. It's still a business. There's still the crunch time and the hard work and the working with people and all of the other things that come along with it. But it is his passion and he loves it. So he found something that he can,
Yeah.
not
Oh,
business marketing, what he went to school for.
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
How much longer do you have of Deborah's class?
I think 2 more weeks. I think it's yeah, we're on week 5 this week and then week 6 next week. And then I think she's doing a wrap-up week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fabulous. If there are any book writers out there.
Yeah, I've been thinking because hopefully she'll offer it in January.
Yeah, she wants to.
I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
Yeah, you too, Marcy.
Hey, Marcy.
Yeah, you guys could do it together. That
Yeah.
would be really fun.
I'm
And then,
thinking
yeah.
about going to Italy because we're going to Italy in March. I might just be writing a book while I'm
Yeah.
in.
That sounds magical.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
something about
Yes.
that just seems so magical.
That's the life I envision. Writing a book
Living
in Italy.
in Italy. Oh my gosh.
Well, hopefully, I told the pod they're all invited. So Katie
Yeah,
might be taking us up on it. She's the only one that said anything. So
seriously, yeah, I hope you're ready for us because we're planning Europe in the spring. So if you're open, we're coming.
yes,
Amazing.
yes,
Yes.
I love it. I was telling my husband about you too and how you were just going to get a house and live in Italy. And he's like, that's genius. That's amazing. I want to do that. I'm like, well, we're going to go stay with them. So it's okay.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, the more we talk to people, the more we find like, oh, other people want to live like that too. Like we want to do international living. 2 months here, 2 months there. Yeah.
Do it. I think that's such a great idea.
I know. Who do we think we are? The three of us just living our best lives. That's right. Well, shoot. How am I going to find Pat the penguin?
Well,
So
maybe I'll republish it and then you can find it easier.
Yeah.
So if somebody buys it, do you get any of it?
Yeah, there are royalties to it, but I've never really figured it out. And I don't understand how they pick their prices because sometimes it's $4 and sometimes right now it's like $50 and it doesn't make any sense at all. And I've never put more energy into figuring it out. I just let it be because it served its purpose. But
yeah.
maybe I'll figure it out with a new publisher or something.
Yeah. You'll have 2 books coming out. Your
a
new
children's
book
book and an adult book.
Oh my gosh. Aw. Yeah, she read it to us one of our pod meetings.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so cute.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
I love children's books. They're my favorite.
Oh man, I have invested way too much in books. Children's books. I just want to touch them and feel them and smell them. Yeah.
That's me too. I'll still buy children's books. I don't even have kids. I'll still buy them because they're so cute. And like the messages and
well, I don't know if you've felt any different, but I feel like in the last decade, children's literature has shifted into even more beautiful messaging and inclusivity. And now it's almost irresistible.
Right.
When I go to the bookstore, because I'm like, oh, one on empathy. Oh, this one's on tolerance. Oh, this one's on kindness. Oh, I need all of them because they're so easy to read to your kids and talk about the message and in a beautiful way, because usually the illustrations are gorgeous. And I love the culture of children's literature right now.
Yeah, I agree.
That's great to know. That the world is changing. So
yeah, I think so. And that's why I made sure to tie in a type of book like that to each lesson in my Leaping Letters, so that when we talk about acceptance, I got to pick a new book about acceptance, and that's what we read. And so it was nice to be able to put in the literature into the stories of preschool lessons.
So Leaping Letters is your on Facebook. People find you for Leaping Letters on Facebook.
Yeah, you can. Yes, there's a Leaping Letters page. Yep. And then Raising Kind Humans is on Facebook too. And then I'm on Instagram, just Katie_Doughty.
Yeah.
But coming soon, my husband did buy me the domain of teamkindhumans.com. So that will be coming. I don't quite know what it's going to look like, but I think I'm going to have Leaping Letters just be one thing. And then the Raising Kind Humans or Team Kind Humans will be a separate entity, because that's more family and kids of all ages, whereas Leaping Letters is very much a 4 to 5-year-old platform.
Oh, I love how you're growing.
You're just dishing out the good stuff.
I know. Yes, she is. Oh.
So I saw something like the Koala Club. What is the Koala Club?
Okay, so I'm trying to do Leaping Letters as a membership. And so you can join the Koala Club, and then you would have access to all of the videos that I have A to Z in the preschool series. And then that's where I was trying to build Raising Kind Humans as well, and putting up curriculum for kids of all ages. They may be becoming separate soon, but right now, if you become a Koala Club member, you'd have the alphabet series and Raising Kind Humans, which is where I've done a whole lesson on raising money for childhood cancer research. So I read a story, because literature is the best. And then we talk about it. Why is it important? How can we help? And then I teach them how to make a paper mache piggy bank. And then they put their piggy bank out in the community, asking for donations to, it'll go to Seattle Children's for childhood cancer research. Yeah, so that's my goal, is to keep building on that and giving more opportunities where families can when they're ready, they can say, let's do a project this month. Here's one. And they can push play and watch and learn about it, and then do the activity as a family. And then hopefully create a community around that, raising kind humans, where families can talk to each other and, what are you working on? Or here's this opportunity, and, kind of bring community service to the forefront of, and make it easy, right? We have so much going on. There's so much to do that when you give a project to a family, you're like, oh, I just don't have time for this right now. But if I can make it as easy as possible and fun for the kids, then I think it will be really valuable.
Well, I think it's good to like introduce them to the idea of service also, and not just the regular, okay, there's like 3 that you even know about that people talk about. Like making a piggy bank and setting it up somewhere. Come on now. How easy and fun is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Picking things that the kids want to do. My daughter
Yes.
loves getting messy. My son, not so much, but she was all in for paper mache, right? That's messy and goopy. And then watching this pig form out of a balloon and toilet paper rolls and paper mache, painting it. And then there's the aspect of, okay, where are we going to put it? Where will most people see it? All right, well, now you need to ask for permission. So they had to write a letter. Can we use your space? Here's what we're doing. And then you have to be responsible and go back and get it and donate it online or whatever it is you're going to do. So I think there's a lot of learning that can go into community service that's a benefit to the kid that's giving, as well as helping whatever charity it is you're working with at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much to learn. I know. And she had what was the other idea you were thinking about offering, like speaking to hospitals?
Oh, yeah. So I love the program that I created with Leaping Letters. And I recognize that kids are going back in person and that the online version is not necessarily in high demand as it was last year. And I'm trying to figure out ways to get it into the hands of kids who might need it. And one of the ideas that was presented to me, someone shared with me, she said, you should check with children's hospitals. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's genius, because those kids can't leave. They don't get to go to school and they don't get to participate with other kids. But if I can get it into their hands, they can do it in their room on their own time. I'll send them the supplies. They can listen to a story. They can do Play-Doh. They can do art. So now I want to figure out a way to have it be where people can sponsor a child and pay whatever the cost is to get the box of supplies and the videos to them so that they can do it. So it'd be more of a charity event or a give back, using Leaping Letters to get into children's hospitals. So I actually did reach out to Seattle Children's. I'm waiting to hear back from them. So hopefully
because if you can, figure out how to do it there, you can figure out how to do it other places,
Yes.
So that
Absolutely.
would be so great, so.
Yeah, give them something happy to do for themselves. I know watching our neighbor having to spend so much time in the hospital that anything to keep them occupied is of value.
Yeah, so much good stuff.
Lots going on.
Is there anything else up your sleeve? Because keep finding gems.
Yeah, she's got them packed, huh?
I don't know. I feel like the universe just keeps on calling, and I just keep trying to answer it. It's not in my plan. It just keeps happening.
We'll ask tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you know.
You'll have 3 other things.
I will. Yeah. Trying to figure out, what else is next. I do love designing, so I'm trying to figure out a way to take hand design things and doing those like print on demand, making apparel to go with for kids. And I want to do it for kids and moms. So like happy, positive messages to put on kids' clothing and mom clothing. We always see cute kids' clothes, but sometimes they're like, I'm sassy, or I don't know. They're not always positive, but let's put it on their clothes and then talk about it. What does it mean to be empathetic? If they're wearing a shirt that says, always be kind. Why is that important? Talk to them about it.
Oh, and even what is kind?
Mm-hmm. What does that look like?
Yeah, I like that.
I
Good stuff.
know. Marcy's taking Kathy Heller's the podcast class.
Ooh, how's
So
that
that's
going?
why like we're getting it together.
Love it.
The thing is like, I know that I can just talk. So I'm sending this out to you, Joanne. I know that I can go on and talk and talk and talk forever. And we've been trying to keep it like a certain time. So in my mind, when I hit record, my brain goes right to that. I've noticed that about myself. So then I stop the recording before we're done talking, you know? So I've noticed that. So today I'm recognizing that I'm not going to do that anymore. So here's my idea. And you
What?
can let me know if you think this is all right.
Okay.
Because I'm recording, I hit record and I'm just going to like let myself off the hook and I'm going to talk my head off. And then when you feel it's time, you can bring in the questions. And that'll be my signal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to just chill because I really do get anxious about it.
Oh, totally.
And then I stop it before we're done.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I could totally do that. I could be watch the time.
Yes,
and
please.
then I could bring in okay.
I feel like my flow, I get like so anxious now.
Yeah. We could kind of close it and then, but then like
I'm not gonna
we're just chatting right now.
Yeah.
There might be some things you want to add.
Right. So I'm not gonna stop it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have you bring in the questions. We'll wrap it up. And then that's it.
Yeah.
I won't hit stop until we're done.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we might chat a little later and
something
will come up. And I think for also like for the guest, I think I don't know did you feel different, Katie, when we're like, okay, it's over?
Yeah. and then it frees you up, right?
Yeah, then it's like a conversation.
Yeah. It definitely does, because then you feel a little bit, oh, okay, well now I'm just gonna talk and try not to be so.
And that's the conversation
that we want,
but it's hard when it's, but so yeah.
So I've noticed that this is the second time I've noticed that happening, where the flow starts after we've hit stop. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm even that way.
Yeah.
So if I just leave that up to you, I'm just going to leave that up to you. And then we'll just, it'll automatically start recording and it'll stop when we're done chatting and then hang up. Yep.
What do you think, Katie?
I like that.
About that.
I do. No, I like that I'm a part of this. I think that's a great idea, because when you did like close it and then we kept talking, you're right. It's easier. It flows a little bit more naturally, and I think people will be a little more relaxed, and you might catch things that you didn't catch before.
So here's another idea, because we're starting to play around. Sorry, Katie, we're bringing you in on our.
Oh, I love this. Let me be a part of your team.
Here's another thing. You know how Kathy's just told us to do like an intro and an outro. We don't even have to say blah, 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 like, hey, Joanne, hey, Mars. That's like our intro. So here with Katie, we don't even have to bring that in. We just start the conversation.
Yeah, that's how Kathy does it. She's like, let's take a listen. And she's like, hey, so-and-so, tell me about your life.
So we just,
that's true.
Yeah. So then it just naturally goes that way. So.
See, we're learning as we're going.
Let the universe take you along for the ride. Change it as you go, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Well, thank you for taking time for us, Katie.
This was really fun.
It's a pleasure getting to know you, and now I actually know you because I've heard about you so much.
She was
our one. We can be friends.
She was our one of the virtual Las Vegas.
I did watch you.
Yeah.
Your walking tour.
Yeah, the walking tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
So,
it. Trying things out.
yeah, yeah.
It's always fun and so much more comfortable. I did one a few weeks ago and I was so nervous and sweaty and just like, whoa. But this one felt more conversational and nice. So thank you.
Oh, well, that's good to
Yes.
know. Good feedback.
Yes. Mm. All right.
Right.
Well, enjoy your day,
Thank
guys.
you. You
Yes.
too. We'll talk to you again soon.
Pleasure. We'll see you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.